I had always known my sister Brielle had a flair for dramatics and a fondness for being the center of attention. What I didn't know, what I refused to believe until that day, was how far her petty cruelty could go, especially toward my son, Mason. He was turning 5. His little hands had circled the calendar for months, counting the sleeps until his big day. We didn't have much, but I saved for months to give him a decent birthday. Balloons, friends from preschool, a dinosaur-themed cake, and all. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. When Brielle said she'd take care of the cake, I was honestly touched. Maybe, for once, she wanted to contribute something meaningful. Maybe she'd finally come around. I should have known better. She strolled into the party late, as usual, her designer sunglasses still on indoors, clutching a dusty, wrinkled box wrapped in reused Christmas paper. She placed it on the snack table next to the cupcakes I had ordered as backup. Something just didn't sit right. "It's a mix," she said, laughing. "I thought you'd like to bake it together, make a memory." But something told me to check. I turned the box over. The expiration date read July 2018. Mason was born in 2020. My hands trembled. I couldn't believe it. The one day that was supposed to be about my son, about his joy, his smile, his laughter, and Brielle brought him a cake mix older than he was. Not a real cake, not even store-bought. A clearance bin relic that probably came from the back of her pantry, or worse, her trash. My mom brushed it off with a chuckle. It's the thought that counts. But I saw the smirk Brielle gave me. The same smirk she had when she used to pull the heads off my dolls, or accidentally spilled juice on my homework. Only now it wasn't juice, it was humiliation. And it wasn't my homework, it was my child's birthday. The rest of the party was a blur. Mason didn't notice, thank God. He was too busy running around with his friends, squealing with joy, covered in frosting and sprinkles. But me? I was seething, not just because of the expired cake mix, but because that moment, that calculated insult, confirmed something I had been denying for too long. Brielle didn't see Mason as family. She saw him as an extension of me, and she hated me. I stood there, surrounded by streamers and half-eaten cupcakes, and made a promise. If she wanted to play dirty, I could play cleaner, but sharper. I wouldn't fight her with expired pettiness. I'd give her a gift she would never forget, one wrapped in class, sealed with silence, and served in a way that would make her fake laughter vanish forever. She had made my son feel unimportant on his birthday, so I decided to make her feel unimportant every day after hers. It had been 3 weeks since Mason's birthday party, but the image of that expired cake mix still haunted me. Not because it ruined the party, thank God for the cupcakes, but because of what it meant. It was a symbol, a declaration. My sister didn't just look down on me. She didn't even consider my son worth the effort of a $10 cake. And worse, our family let her get away with it. I tried to push the anger aside, but everywhere I looked, there she was, plastered across social media in her curated perfection. Auntie Bree's weekend brunch, Brielle's luxury lifestyle tips, celebrating family, always. The irony was enough to make me sick. I started noticing how many times she posted pictures with my nephew, her godson, her friends' children. But not Mason. Not once. The final push came a week later. I was on the phone with our mother, just catching up. I mentioned I was thinking of enrolling Mason in piano lessons. He'd been tapping keys on an old keyboard we found at a yard sale, and I figured it might help with his focus and creativity. Mom didn't even let me finish. "You should probably wait until you're more stable, honey. Those things add up, and you know how you are with budgeting." How I was? I paid my own rent. I worked 2 jobs. I clipped coupons to afford groceries. And still, I made sure my son had everything he needed. Yet, when Brielle decided to fly to Napa for a spiritual cleanse retreat, our parents practically threw her a going-away brunch. They even helped pay for it. The rage burned deeper than before. But I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I didn't post cryptic messages online or beg for validation. Instead, I started planning. You see, what Brielle didn't know, What none of them knew was that the little side hustle I had been working on late at night after putting Mason to bed, it had grown into something real, something scalable, something profitable. I'd been building a small gifting company, packaging eco-friendly hampers, curated baskets, and custom boxes for baby showers and birthdays. At first, it was just through Instagram, then came Etsy, then bulk orders, then a distributor, and then an offer. A company wanted to buy me out and retain me as creative director. A full acquisition. Life-changing money. I signed the papers a day after my conversation with Mom. I had my lawyer wire the funds to a newly opened account. Then I did something very few people in my family thought I'd ever do. I bought something big. Not flashy. Not sparkly. Something symbolic. The house. The house. The one Brielle had been flaunting ever since she moved into it last summer. The one she claimed had the best backyard for entertaining and just screamed her aesthetic. She had no idea the property was a lease to own, and when the actual owners decided to quietly sell after retiring overseas, they offered it first to whoever could make a clean, immediate offer. That was me, and I didn't just buy the house. I bought the LLC behind it, quietly, efficiently, with every detail documented and wrapped in enough legal tape that even Brielle's precious attorney friend couldn't undo it. The next weekend, Brielle hosted another brunch. Of course. I wasn't invited, obviously, but I showed up anyway, with Mason holding my hand, wearing his little bow tie and confidence. The look on Brielle's face when I arrived was priceless. "Oh," she sneered, wine glass already in hand. "Didn't know you RSVP'd?" I smiled. "I didn't." She scoffed. "Then why are you here?" I pulled out the envelope from my purse and handed it to her. She opened it lazily, assuming it was another passive-aggressive apology, or maybe a bill I wanted help with. Then her face changed. Her jaw dropped. She looked up at me wide-eyed. "What is this?" "It's the deed," I said calmly. "To this house. The one you're living in." The silence spread across the patio like spilled wine. One of her friends awkwardly coughed. My mother gasped. My father looked between us, completely confused. "You're joking," Brielle whispered, her voice cracking. "No," I said, stepping closer. "You gave my son an expired cake mix. Now I'm giving you 30 days. The silence after I said those words was absolute. Brielle stood frozen on her own patio, clutching the deed with shaking hands, as if hoping the words would dissolve or rearrange themselves into something less real. But they didn't. Every letter was legal, every number accurate, every signature valid. She blinked, once, twice, then whispered, "You can't do this." I gave a small shrug. "Actually, I already have." She looked around at her friends, seeking backup, but no one came to her rescue. Not this time. One even took a step back. The girl with the platinum blonde curls who used to laugh too loudly at every one of Brielle's jabs toward me suddenly looked uncomfortable, shifting her mimosa glass from one hand to another. My mother's voice finally broke the stillness. "You bought her house?" I turned toward her, still holding Mason's hand. "The house she bragged about? The one she threw parties in while treating me and your grandson like an afterthought?" "Yes. I bought it." My father stepped forward, trying to soften the moment. "Sweetheart, this seems extreme. Maybe we can—" "Extreme?" I interrupted. "Was it extreme when you both told Mason he'd be better off skipping his birthday because money's tight, only to help Brielle pay for her new outdoor bar the same week?" Brielle finally snapped, flinging the envelope to the floor. "This is pathetic. You're still jealous. Still that bitter little sister who can't stand that I'm the one who got everything." I smiled at her, but this time it was hollow. "You're right. You did get everything, all the attention, all the praise, all the protection, and you used it to crush everyone around you, especially me. But here's the thing, Brielle. I built something on my own. While you lived off handouts, I worked. I raised a good boy. I sacrificed and struggled and still kept my dignity intact, and now I'm reclaiming every inch of what you tried to bury me under." I turned to Mason and knelt beside him. "You okay?" He nodded. She looks mad. I couldn't help but chuckle. She is, baby, but you're not the one who should be sorry. He looked up at me and said something so quiet, yet so pure, that it cracked something open inside me. Does this mean I can have a birthday here next year? With a real cake? I hugged him tightly. You'll have everything you deserve. Standing up, I looked Brielle in the eye. You have 30 days to leave. I'll even let you keep your furniture. I'm not cruel, just fair. And with that, I walked out of the backyard, my son's small hand in mine, past the crowd of stunned brunch-goers and stunned relatives, none of whom dared utter another word. Later that evening, I got a call, not from Brielle, not from my parents, from my aunt, the only one who ever believed in me. You did it, she said, her voice full of pride. You didn't just win, you showed them who you are. I paused, then whispered, I didn't need to win. I just needed them to stop pretending I never mattered. The next year, Mason's birthday was unforgettable. We hosted it in that same backyard. Laughter filled the air. Real cake, handmade by a local bakery I now had a partnership with, stood tall and perfect. My aunt toasted to Mason with tears in her eyes. Friends showed up, real friends, and no one sat on a throne that day, because my son didn't need one to know he was loved. And Brielle? She never sent a gift, not even a card. But that was okay, because some gifts, like silence and justice, are better than anything wrapped in a bow. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.